Hi everyone, welcome to my kitchen and the very first episode of Restaurant Remakes. I'm going to go eat out and show you where I'm eating, show you what dish that I'm eating. Then we're gonna come home, remake that dish, and I'm gonna break down the price for you guys on how much it took to make the whole thing. So the dish that started this whole restaurant remake series was the Paparradelle Pasta with burrata cheese that I had from MaMMaMia Ristorante in Florence. MaMMaMia's had this wide menu of all these different pasta dishes, and when we were reading through it, we just knew that we had to eat there, and it was the best decision that we made when we went to Italy. To break down the Paparradelle Pasta with burrata, it came with about 2 to 3 ounces, I'd say, of pappardelle, covered in this light tomato sauce, and then topped with a ball of burrata, some roasted tomatoes, and basil. It was the most simple pasta dish, and I knew that I had to come home and remake it for you guys because who wouldn't want to eat this? So, without waiting any longer, let's get cooking.
For our ingredients, you'll need 1 pound of pappardelle pasta, 1 bag of fresh Marzano tomatoes, some olive oil, I'm using garlic olive oil, some salt, crushed red pepper flakes, a 28-ounce can of whole Marzano tomatoes, a head of garlic, some burrata cheese, and fresh basil. For special equipment, you'll need a large pot to boil the pasta, an oven-safe container with a lid for the sauce, and a measuring cup for some pasta water. We're going to start off by prepping our sauce. So in your oven-safe container, remove the lid and add in the 28-ounce can of Marzano tomatoes, including all of the juice. To this, we're going to add some olive oil. I added garlic olive oil just because I had it on hand and I wanted the sauce to have the garlic flavor. Then we're going to add in a generous amount of salt and close up the lid. We're going to put this in the oven on the bottom rack at 375 degrees for around 35 minutes. Next, we're going to boil our pasta water. Now we're going to prep our toppings. So here I have about 5 cloves of garlic from the full head, and we're just going to slice this into thin slices. Next, we're going to prepare our basil. So this is called, I think, rolling it into a cigar. I don't know. But you place your leaves one on top of the other, and then you roll it into this cigar shape. Once it's rolled into its little cigar shape, you're going to cut that into slices as well. It creates these little ribbons of basil that are really nice to top it with and to include into the sauce because you can see the actual basil pieces. Next, we're going to heat up some olive oil. I used regular olive oil here since we're going to infuse this olive oil with the garlic pieces that we chopped up earlier. Once the oil is hot, you're going to add in your garlic slices, and we're going to let this fry until it's a little golden brown. You don't want it to burn, so don't have your oil on too high of a heat because you want the garlic to caramelize, get that good crunch and that good color. Next, we're going to add in some red pepper flakes. This is just going to create a little spice to our pasta. And once that fries for a little bit, we're going to add in our fresh Marzano tomatoes. These don't take very long to cook, so you want to do this when your garlic is coming to the end of its browning stage. I actually should have taken the garlic out at this point because further down the line, I had some trouble removing the garlic while still cooking the tomatoes. Here you can see that the tomatoes have cooked a little bit. The skin is starting to blister and the tomatoes were getting a little bit softer. And here is my struggle to remove the garlic. So my tip would be to brown the garlic completely. You can see it's a nice golden color there, and remove it from your oil before you start cooking the tomatoes. You want the tomatoes to cook in the garlic oil just for some extra flavor, but you don't want the garlic to burn at the same time. So remove your garlic before the tomatoes are added. So now our water is at a rolling boil, and you just want to add a generous amount of salt. You want it to be like the ocean is in your pot of water, because you want your noodles to have some flavor as well. I added the full pound of pappardelle pasta into the boiling water. This cooks for about 6 minutes, or you can cook it according to package directions. After 35 minutes, we're going to pull our sauce from the oven. You can see here that the tomatoes released a lot of their liquid. So I like using a potato masher because I like the texture of the crushed tomatoes rather than having a smooth sauce from a blended tomato sauce, but it's up to you. If your personal preference is a smooth sauce, definitely use a blender, but I like some leftover tomato chunks in mine. We're going to add some ribbons of basil, as well as some of the oil from the fried garlic and tomatoes and red pepper, just to bring all of the flavors together. We're going to mix it one last time, and you can see here how thick the sauce is. If you want a thinner sauce, go ahead and add that reserved pasta water, and that'll thin it out a little bit. Here we have the drained noodles still in the pot, and we're going to add some of the oil we used to cook the tomatoes in there, just to get a good coating around the noodles. It adds a little bit more flavor in my opinion. We're going to ladle in some sauce. I added 2 ladles at first, just to see how it coated the pasta, as well as the fried garlic. And at this point, I realized that I wanted the noodles to be coated in more sauce. Since the pasta was still hot, the noodles did absorb some of our tomato sauce. So I added in 1 more ladle. Let's break down cost while we plate. So the total cost came out to be $29.21, not including the salt and red pepper flakes since I already had that on hand. But for 7 servings of pasta, it came out to be about $5.84 per serving. To plate the pasta, I just added a good pile of the cooked pasta into the middle of the plate, added half a ball of burrata on top of that, spooned on some of our fried tomatoes, and then I added a good spoonful of the cooking oil. This adds a lot of flavor to the pasta, so I highly recommend adding some of that cooking oil on top, and then finish it off with some ribbons of basil. Thank you guys so much for watching my first restaurant remakes. Make sure to subscribe and come back again for our next one. Bye!